Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another spiritual mind healing service from the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. Thanks for joining us this evening. I see some SGs here and something that is so beautiful. Thanks for joining us. That was Anna singing Lionheart, and I guess you can tell from our topic, unconditional, ON, or unconditional, that this evening's service will be about love. But as we do with everything at the Temple of Light, we start with an affirmative prayer. So please join me. And so we acknowledge the only truth, God. We recognize that God is love, and therefore all is love. And this evening, we allow ourselves to contemplate this most important of truths, that love is all that is. And so we go into this service with an open mind and with an open heart, and we share willingly, and we all help uplift each other. It is good, for we are gathered for the purpose of love. I truly am thankful that this word is established in divine law, and give thanks now that it is so. And so it is.
It is.
As you may have gathered, we have some guests with us. And one of those guests is Elizabeth Goff, Susan's daughter. And we are going to ask Elizabeth to lead us in a meditative kind of silence, so it might be a little bit longer than usual. Please bear with us. Elizabeth.
Thank you. All right. So as we come into silence, into stillness, it's good to keep in mind that we are never really silent. We are never really still. As long as the breath is moving in and out, the heart is beating, the birds are singing, there is always movement, there is always life. And yet, we try to establish relative silence, relative stillness. And the breath is the best entry point, I believe, for that. So I invite each of you to become aware of your breath. I will assume that you've already been breathing today. And yet, it has most likely been a default mode. So I invite you to connect to the breath now as a conscious choice that you are making to inhale and exhale intentionally, deliberately, with awareness. You may breathe in and out through the nose. You may breathe in through the nose and perhaps sigh the breath out through the mouth, but allow the breath to be something that you choose to do. And I invite us just to take a few moments here with the breath, seeing if we can perhaps lengthen each breath, deepen each breath, steady each breath, slow each breath down, and choose to breathe in this moment. And if the mind starts to wander, if the senses become distracted, I invite you to return to each inhale, each exhale, as though the breath were the only thing in this moment. Allow the breath to fill up this moment so fully that nothing else will take up much of your time, much of your attention. Let us continue here for a few more moments, breathing with awareness, with intention. And now that the breath has been deepened, that this relative stillness and silence have been established, I invite you to notice the sound of your own breath and the way that the sound of your breath merges with every other sound around you. And as we now prepare to close this part of the practice, I invite you to take a moment to place the hands perhaps at the chest or the belly or anywhere else where you think you may be able to feel each deep breath moving through you. And breathe as deeply as you can here, noticing the waves of the breath, the way the hands move with the breath on each inhale and each exhale. And wherever you feel the breath connecting within you, I invite you to fill that space with gratitude.
Mhm.
I thank you for allowing me to share. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Elizabeth. I suspect the service is over now. That that was beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you'll get the my calendar whenever I'm speaking again. Any comments on the moment of stillness? Brief, brief, brief.
Totally enjoyed it, especially my breathing in. It's like when I had to touch my stomach and my chest, it's like the wave. So because I was breathing from my stomach, so my stomach was and all the air, so the wave, I just see the wave coming in, and then when I breathe out. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that.
All right.
Yes, indeed. It was just very calming and peaceful. And I particularly liked the silence in it. Yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I do appreciate the opportunity to still myself so completely, because I've had a full day on my feet, being present in a room with a whole group of people. And I so wanted to just be still. And I appreciated that, Elizabeth. Thank you so much.
One mind, one mind. Without any shame, without any shame. Elizabeth does this for a living, so feel free to contact her. She didn't ask me to say that. As a matter of fact, that smile is soon to be rued by me, but thank you. Allow me then to get into what I had planned. I don't know why. This topic, ON conditional or UN conditional, is obviously about love. Often when we speak of the love of God, we say it is unconditional, yet when we attempt to practice it, somehow it becomes on conditional. That is, we attach all kind of conditionalities. With our children, we may say or think things like, if you want to love me, make sure you, and so on and so on, and we attach the condition. Or we may say to our children or anyone else for that matter, if you love me, you wouldn't, and we attach the condition. So our sharing today, outside of that lovely moment of stillness, will be about our thoughts on love. Do we love ON condition? And if so, condition of so and so, or do we love unconditionally? Before we get into our sharing, I'm going to read two passages. The first is 1 Corinthians 13, and I will leave out the italics. And the second is from the prophet by Khalil Gibran. There are also two short poems that I will read and then invite us to share depending on how the time is going. So I'll start with 1 Corinthians 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am become sounding bronze or tinkling cymbal. And though I have prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have faith so that I could remove mountains and have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed, and though I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profiteth me nothing. Love suffereth long, is kind, love envieth not, love vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not its own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Love never faileth. But whether prophecies, they shall fail. They shall be done away with, Whether tongues, they shall cease. Whether knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, and love, these three. But the greatest of these, love. Corinthians 1, chapter 13, rather. And now Mr. Gibran. Then said Almitra, speak to us of love. And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, when love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant. Then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all your laughter, and weep, but not all your tears. Love gives naught but itself, and takes naught but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not that you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love. And to bleed willingly and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at eventide with gratitude. And then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips. And so it is. There's a poem by Dana Faulds, Faulds, titled Who You Are. It reads, who you are is so much more than what you do. The essence shining through the heart, soul, and center. The bare and bold truth of you does not lie in your to-do list. You are not just at the surface of your skin, not just the impulse to arrange the muscles of your face into a smile or a frown, not just boundless energy or bone-wearying fatigue. Delve deeper. You are divinity, the vast and open sky of spirit, its light of God, the ember of your core, the passion and the presence, the timeless deathlessness essence of you that reaches out and touches me. Who you are transcends fear and turns suffering into liberation. Who you are is love. And James Baldwin says, finally, the longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light. Gentle work, steadfast work, life-saving work in those moments when life and shame and sorrow occlude our own light from our view. But there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. In our best moments, we are that person for another. And so it is. So I invite comments, observations, interpretations, understanding on the topic. Not necessarily based on these readings, but these readings called to me, and so I'm sharing them with you. So feel free to share.
You know, Steve, I was working with a group today, and you were talking about emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
And we created a scenario in which a person did something. You are the leader, and the person stepped above you and went to your CEO and told them or complained about some aspect of your work. Question was, how would that make you feel? And of course, people felt disappointed and all kinds of things. But it was very interesting that one person, in just looking at how to step away from those feelings, the person said, oh, we can't feel any different. The person is bad-minded and wicked. And a whole string of negative expressions. I said, okay, so how else, as a leader, how else can you see that person? How can you step into their shoes and get a sense of them having, how can you get a sense of their point of view as to why they did what they did? Point of view, them not have no point of view because them, and she continued to lay it on this person. And so we had a very heated discussion about tit for tat. When people behave a certain way, you have to give them back and give them back worse. And it took a while for at least somebody to say, so you're going to have to kind of give them love then. Because if you give them love, it will heal whatever it is that is going on with them. I mean, I was just so elated to hear that. And to come here now and hear this topic, to be unconditional in our loving, in spite of what. That don't mean that we're going to put up with what the person does or says. But we can go to a place of understanding and just valuing the person for where they are coming from, and then make the effort to support them to move to a different place.
Mhm. Mhm. One mind.
Mhm.
One
I'm
mind.
curious, Sandy, to hear how the person who was set on revenge took the suggestion of using love instead.
With great difficulty, Carol, because it's not a normal approach.
Mm.
You know, in this teaching, we are learning to that love means that we navigate through the behavior and see from a higher perspective and see how God would see it, and
I'm sure that didn't go over very well.
Of course
because
not. And we're
God's a
talking
vengeful God.
hardcore Christian. And I never use the word God.
Good.
But and just based on they did prayer in the morning, and we stop at lunchtime before we went to the buffet to have set prayers, and so yeah, this is the norm. They're hardcore Christians, but in a situation like that, one of the persons who was most devout is the one who said, I'm bad-minded, worthless, and wicked.
Of course.
Let me interrupt you both. I see you, Elizabeth. One of the things, and that I had always wonder about when speaking to my Christian friends is how easily they revert to the law of Moses. So then my question to them is, what did Yeshua come to fulfill? We're still live the eye for an eye, tit for tat, kind of existence. And it is so funny, sometimes I get answers to questions, and then I wonder where the question coming from. And Sandy just asked a question. And I have a question that is a response to that question. So here is this same God that we all say we talk to, asking us a question. At the times when I don't occur to you, who is responsible for reminding you that I am? You landed, Carol, and I'll cut you off. Then Elizabeth afterwards.
Yeah. Well, it just brought to mind something that I was listening to Muji just before this evening here, You know, and he always speaks to if the you behind you,
Mhm.
in terms of if you can see it, if you can hear it, if you can feel it,
Excuse me.
then you are not it.
Mhm.
There is something beyond you
Mhm.
that's causing you to think and to feel and
Mhm.
act. And you know, when we speak about love, sometimes most people have a hard time wrapping their mind around love,
Mhm.
the O-N conditional love or the
Mhm.
UN conditional love,
Mhm.
because it's not a concept that, well, it is a concept that is outside of the realm of our understanding. I mean, I just enjoyed those poems because I love words, and I was just enjoying the words washing over me, you know. But I feel that that is what love requires, for you to simply be the presence of
Mhm.
love and allow love to be, allow love to have its way, to allow love to love, because that's all that love
Mhm.
can do, is to love.
I tell you, reading Gibran's poem just now, I said, because I deliberately didn't do much practicing. And I looked it over earlier today and reading it just now, the whole matter of and Baldwin and the two short poems too.
Mhm.
We have to accept what is,
Yep.
you have to condone it, but we have to accept what is,
Yeah.
or it is not love. I hear you. I hear you. Elizabeth and then Denise.
Thank you. I was most intrigued by the line in one of the poems that said, people are not what they do. People are not what, their to-do list or what they do, that part, because I think that is a part of this conversation. So much of the conditional love or unconditioned love is based on people's actions, and then we make a judgment based on their actions. And it sounds as though, and it seems as though there is an underlying essence to a person that deserves love regardless of their actions. Many of us are disconnected from that concept, and so we literally value people depending on what they do and what they don't do, and judge them based on that, and then kind of assign love dependent on that. So it's very conditional. And that's something it's very hard for me to grasp, because I think, grasp it insofar as actually put it into practice more than the concept, in terms of really understanding that everybody deserves love regardless of their actions. And one thing I find myself doing when I want to experience that unconditional love is I actually try to imagine people as they would have been as children, like as infants, because all of us would have been newborns and infants. And of course, at that stage, nobody would deny, where we hope nobody would deny that a innocent child is deserving of love. And sometimes I have to say, all right, this person, yes, they've gone through a lot and they reach a certain point, they act a particular way, but they still have that childlike essence, that innocence at the heart, that remembering.
I emphasize childish when I was reading Corinthians as against childlike.
Yes,
You know, childish is the lady in Sunday's class. Childlike, is this discussion that we're having. I see Denise was, I'm sorry, did you land, Elizabeth?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Denise?
No, I was going to ask you, Steve, if you'd be kind enough to refresh my memory by reading Baldwin's words again to us.
Okay, I will.
I would appreciate it, if not now, at some point.
No, it's all good.
Because
It's all good.
I
don't know, Vance, can I share this stuff? Because I have it in a document, but I didn't want to bring up any
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
yes, yes.
because
I
we're going
find
on
his words
YouTube.
so profound
Yeah, we're
that
going
I
on
need.
YouTube as well, so I didn't want to bring up this,
Oh,
but I have it, so I can share it. I can
all
share it.
right. Thank you. Thank you.
All good. Susan?
Yes, thank you, Steve. It was a line from the Baldwin poem that I wanted to just comment on, where he said something about part of our role is the mirroring and magnifying each other's light.
Mm.
And I just thought of three things in that: light, mirror, and magnifying glass. And we are all those things because all of us is the light, have that light within us. I have it, you have it, each of us has it. And we have a role in tending our own light, but also if we are a mirror for other people's light, we also have to pay attention to keeping that mirror clean, so that we reflect that other person's light. And we also have a duty to hold that magnifying glass at, you know, the proper angle, so that we are magnifying the other people's light. And it's like there is that interactive play that is always going on, tending our own light, keeping our mirrors clean, holding our magnifying glass at a good angle. And what we are doing for ourselves, we are also doing for each other. So it's that interactive play and how love encompasses all of that. I really liked that line in the poem.
Yeah, in Baldwin. So
Yes.
therefore, you're saying that Baldwin wrote verse 12 of Corinthians 13. For now we see in a mirror darkly, but then face to face. So
Yes.
now the mirror is clean. We are actually seeing the divine in each other.
Yes.
You know, I don't usually do this, but I will definitely, Vance, please make a note of all who are here in this class. I will send my text. You'll see all my other little things that I would have or shouldn't have or maybe shouldn't have said and things. So you'll know all my secrets. You, Vance. Thank you, Susan.
Well, I'm really speaking on behalf of practitioner Carol Charlton. He said, love is not love which alters when its alteration finds. That she's quoting Shakespeare there.
Okay, okay.
She said, which is another way of saying that it is really the changeless reality we are called to express despite the circumstances. I find that very
yes,
profound.
I'm just seeing it now. Yes, I'm seeing Carol's quote on YouTube. Quite an interesting discussion going on YouTube. Wow. Mirroring the light of love with everyone we meet, coming from a place of unconditional love, one with each other and one with the one. That was Yvonne Chang Oliver. Okay, yes, sorry, I wasn't monitoring YouTube. This discussion was so absorbing. Who is putting stuff in the chat? If you're putting stuff in the chat, please open your microphone. Please open your mic and say it. You have exactly 1 minute. Anything else? That which is not love is not that which alters. Okay, that's
yes.
Carol.
I've put in the chat the Gibran quote from the quote that you cannot direct the course of love, for love, if you find is worthy, will direct your course.
Will direct your course, yeah.
Yes, and that's a quote I have known since high school. And for me, I don't even think at that time I knew who was the source of that quote. And I've always resonated with that.
My generation grew up with Chuck Jackson singing, heed the words of the prophet. For if you love, you shall not say the Lord is in your heart. You should say, I am in the heart of the Lord, etc., etc. Yeah, we see these things and we hear these things. I mean, as I said, practicing to try and give the perfect delivery and stuff for this class. My chime went off and said, let's not bother with the practice. Let it happen, And so I'm really happy for that. And I thank you all for participating. Anyone who has not spoken, you have 30 seconds.
Suppose we have spoken.
You still have 30 seconds.
Yeah, just to say that, you know, Steve, the love thing is really hard. We practice it, we preach it. Well, we read it, we repeat it, we are taught it. But man, to put it into practice in your everyday life, it is hard. And I really love the quotes and what everybody's saying. But I would like sometime, perhaps not today, to just get into when it's hard, when is love hard, to really find that and source it and express it when we're angry or when we're upset about stuff. That to go to that place is tough.
I can tell you what I do, right?
Thank you.
Now if I say I don't get angry and thing, you know, so don't bother come with that. But you see that lady sitting, you see that lady sitting beside Elizabeth. She has a younger sister and she has an even younger cousin, right? My grandchildren. I literally say to myself, whoever this personality is, usually some politician, you know, who is getting on my last nerve, I literally say, I have to see that person as Nzale or Eshe or Maik. I mean, I say that to myself and I say it over and over till I stop cussing. So that's what works for me.
Thank you.
But I mean, as you know, it's not a one size fit all, you know. Whatever that thing is, that person is, that feeling is that you love so much, and nobody come with it, Miss Sandy. Me know, you know if you do it, me don't know if you do it. You have to just go to that place. You have to force yourself. That's the only time I believe we need force, you know, to get to that place. So I must say, Vance as Nzale, you know, but you have to work at it. You just have to work at it. There's no shortcut, as I keep hearing everybody say. And you know,
neither is self-flagellation necessary.
No, I get you. I get you. I get you. Important point. Thank you, Carol. Very important point.
Can one love mindfully?
I didn't hear that. Go ahead.
Can one love mindfully?
Mindfully. That bigger
I'm
than
just asking. I don't know. I mean,
you can be mindful of love. That Gibran is worth reading. That Gibran really.
I look forward to hearing it again.
It is definitely worth reading. There was a bookstore.
And Baldwin, Steve, don't forget him because I think.
Baldwin. No, I will send the Baldwin.
Yeah, because Gibran,
all of us.
Gibran is beautiful, but Baldwin to me is practical.
No, I was saying about the Baldwin. I will send the Baldwin to all of us.
All right.
So you see all my little secrets, right? But the Gibran is a book. Look at my Gibran.
I know we all have it, Steve.
No. Listen about this particular Gibran. It's a piece of the cover fall off. This Gibran is from before me born. I don't know my age. My dad gave it to me. Trust me. Yes, you will get your Baldwin. Yes, you will get your Baldwin, but trust me. If you read Gibran, you know, hear how much time I stumbled reading Gibran a while ago, and this is after practicing. It is a big one to swallow, but we have to work at it. We have to work at it. That's all we can do. Nothing new on YouTube. So we move on to our prayer requests.
In the interest of time, I'm wondering if the love, an affirmative prayer of love, because love is the first. The universe is first, well, order. But just to see love as that which is taking care of our health,
Yeah.
our peace of mind, our that puts everything in right action. So it could be a sort of a umbrella for all of the requests that we might have. So we can.
And I was going to request health and love. My usual two.
Well, you see, one of the things that I had in mind for this evening, again, we talk about one mind, is that we're going to just do everything in the collective this evening. So bearing Sandy's suggestion in mind.
I am that.
Right? Bearing Sandy's suggestion in mind, right? We do this treatment collectively, right? I fully accept that God is the I am that I am, and the I am that Dawn is.
Yes.
And we take that into the stillness for a moment, remembering all of what Elizabeth did with us earlier on. And then we all declare it is the Father's good pleasure to give Dawn
the kingdom
through grace.
All has already
been granted. And so it is.
So it is.
And I will still do the affirmative prayer of love.
Thank you.
But I really want us to do this as a collective today. We can unmute and I will indicate when we come out of the stillness by starting the last part. Am I clear?
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then Sandy will do a treatment of love.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
let's sit up. I've gotten quite comfortable.
Democracy, what can I say? All right, unmute everyone, and we're going to just remember Elizabeth's exercise for a couple seconds. Let us use Dawn's name, since she's the only one who made a request for that space where the name should be. Ready? I fully accept that God is I am that I am. And the I am that
Dawn is. I am that Dawn is.
Health, clarity, peace, joy. Together we say,
it is
Father's pleasure
to give
Dawn the
kingdom.
Through grace,
all
has already been granted.
And so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Sandy.
And in the joy of this moment, we affirm and acknowledge that one presence and power that we know as God. And we know that God is love, God is light, God is beauty, God is the allness of our experience and expression now. And so we declare and decree love as the heart of our way and the way of our heart. It is that beautiful light that shines on our path as we walk this journey on this plane. It is that which created us out of itself and declared that we are its beloved. It is that which goes before us and makes our experience one that is harmonious, sweet, and beautiful. It is that which heals all that is other than the experience, the fullest experience and expression of love. Indeed, we know that there is no otherness. We know that there is only God. And in the space of God and love, I know that we are blessed, we are uplifted, we are inspired. All that is God within us is ignited and is expressing as our vocation, as our calling, as our engagement with our loved ones, our family, our friends. It is that which allows us to see each person as the light and the love that they are. It is that which allows us to embrace every cell and fiber with love of our beings and to experience perfect health. It is that which expresses us joy, so we can lift up our eyes and just see the goodness and the beauty of all situations and all circumstances. It is that which is now expressing fully and perfectly in and through and as each one of us. And so with a sense of knowing that it is love that brought us here, it is love that takes us on our path, it is love that heals and guides us, it is love that makes all things new. I joyfully and gratefully release these words now to that law that acts upon them and makes them our perfect and loving and wonderful experience. I truly rejoice in truth and in the knowing that all is well. I know that this truly is so now, and so
it is. Thank you, thank you.
Wow, Susan says here, and that the listener now begins the practice.
Yes.
Thank you, Susan.
All right, so we have a couple announcements. Reverend Michelle will be in the sanctuary next Tuesday.
Or is this isn't it this? Oh, next week. Yes.
Next Tuesday is February, yeah. The class is coming in
February.
February. I don't know what days. Does anybody know what days the other classes are?
Thursday is the 4 agreements. Thursday morning at 11:30.
Right, that is
11:30 to 1:30. 4 agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz.
So I don't know what days for Reverend Anne and Reverend Michael. Reverend Sonia is starting this Thursday with what it is, Vance?
Florence Scoville.
Power of the spoken word.
The power of the spoken word, right? And all the usual suspects. And of course, as usual, we invite you to support us by visiting donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And we thank you for your generosity. Could we just do our love offering blessing, please?
Lovingly.
Lovingly I give.
Joyfully
I receive.
Without
increase and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich
everyone
whom you touch, and replenish
all
all my So be it. Thank you, Father. And so it is.
Prayer for our center.
Temple of Light.
Temple of Light.
Center for spiritual living is a sacred field embodiing our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us
ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment.
We are
blessed,
and to God
be the
be the
honor and glory
forever.
And
And
so
so it is.
prayer of Jamaica. The radiant
The
light
radiant light of God's love
is
is
now
now
flowing through us
and
and
from us
to
to
everything
everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light
of
of God's love now
now
completely
completely fills,
covers
and surrounds our island Jamaica.
Jamaica.
The
The
glowing
glowing
intensity
intensity
of
of the
the
light
light
of God's love
now
now
interpenetrates
and
and
awakens
awakens
the
within
hearts
the
and
minds
minds
of
of our
countrymen
countrymen and women.
The
The
truths of
truths of
life
life
we
set
set
free.
free.
The light of
The light of
God's
love
love
growing
is growing and glowing in
intensity
intensity
in the
in the
hearts
heart
and
and
minds
mind
of
of
mankind
everywhere.
everywhere.
Love,
Health,
Health,
harmony,
goodwill,
peace,
uprightness,
integrity,
joy,
prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established.
And
And
so it is.
It is.
Blessings, everyone. We will have a musical